He's amazing. He's a really treasured, dear friend of mine, and I'm so excited to have him on the showcase. Dave Kelly is a 15-year member of APCA. He's spoken on more than 300 college campuses all across the country. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's the 2019 APCA Campus Speaker of the Year. Please welcome Dave Kelly.
Thank you all. So glad to be here with you. I am Dave Kelly. I'm known as America's Student Leadership Trainer because that's the title that I gave myself. I think a title made up or taken is better than one earned or elected, but I know a lot of you are in elected roles. Some of you might like to be in elected roles, and some of you are thinking, I never want to be in an elected role. What I'm going to talk about here with you today is about being a serving leader and how serving leadership can help you no matter what direction you choose to go in. Now, Del told you I've been doing this for 15 years. I've spoken at over 300 college campuses. But I can tell you, when I first started as a speaker, I wasn't as confident as I feel I am today before audiences. I can remember one time being at a school and I was waiting outside and the door had a window in it so I could look in and see the students. And the students were all sort of sitting there. Some of them were talking to each other. A few of them were poking each other. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, are they gonna like me? Are they gonna like my stories? How is this going to go? And then from inside the room I heard, and now boys and girls, welcome Mr. Kelly. And I went in to face the most hostile and volatile of audiences possible. 5-year-olds. I was actually in at-risk elementary school in Atlanta to read to kindergartners as part of my Kiwanis Club's reading program. So I strode into the room and all the little people were on the floor in front of me sitting crisscross applesauce. Remember doing that? And I sat in the reader's chair, which was designed for a 5-year-old. And I looked at them and I said, hi boys and girls, I'm Mr. Kelly, and I'm from the Kiwanis Club, and I'm here to read to you today. And I brought 3 books, all by Dr. Seuss. Does everybody like Dr. Seuss? You know how little kids are, their hands go immediately up, but then they're like, back down again, and then they sort of sneak up again, and it looked like Dr. Seuss was gonna be a good bet. One little girl off to the side had her hand up, and I said, yes, sweetie, do you have a question? And she said, I like Cat in the Hat. I hadn't brought Cat in the Hat that day, so I thought I might be in trouble. And then there was a little boy off to the side who still had his hand up, and I said, yes, do you have a question? And he said, we have 3 cats. And I looked over at the teacher for help, but she had her face buried in her hands in some sort of self-induced coma, and I knew I was on my own. So I figured I better go with my favorite book, the one that I read to my daughters, Green Eggs and Ham. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am, that Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. And all of the kids were in rapt attention. Just like you are waiting for more pictures from the book, right? Well, I'm sorry, there aren't any. But I started reading a little bit more, and I started reading about the house and the mouse, and this guy won't eat them there, and he says he won't eat them with the house, and he won't eat them with the mouse, and he won't eat them here or there. He won't eat them anywhere. You read the book. How cool. And that's what the kids did too. They shouted out anywhere. And then he says, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. And the kids did that too, and I thought, awesome, audience participation. And so now I'm getting excited, and we're reading about the goat and the boat and the box and the fox and the train and the rain, and the kids are shouting anywhere, and Sam I am, and they're getting louder and louder. So loud, in fact, that the first grade teacher from across the hallway came over and asked me if I could quiet the children down, and I looked at her and I said, are you kidding me? I'm on a roll here. Well, we finally get to that one page where the guy, we don't even know his name, but he's holding the fork and it's hanging off of the egg's hanging off the fork, and there's not any words on that page, but I think if there was a word, it would have just been, ugh. And then he eats the egg, and he loves it. And he tells Sam he'll eat them in all those places. And he gets to the very end and he says, I do so love green eggs and ham. Thank you, thank you. Sam, I am. Yeah, and that's what the kids did too. And I was hooked. And I've been reading to those kids now for 20 years. Well, not the same kids. I mean, they've hopefully gotten a little older. Here's my kids from a couple of years ago. Yeah, I love that picture. I get paid in hugs. Although if you look really closely in there, poor little Amanda's just getting crushed. I don't know why Danella's screaming, and this is my teacher, Miss G. I've been reading to her with her kids for about 15 years. And these kids need us. They need you. I called it an at-risk elementary school. And that means that a lot of these kids are in single-parent homes. Some of them are in no-parent homes. They're being raised by grandmothers or aunts, sometimes adult sisters. And so they need us. They need us to come and to show that we care. And you know, it's about being a serving leader. And there have been some great serving leaders through time. I think Dr. King is telling us here that our greatness will be determined by our service. And then Mother Teresa on earth, now known as Saint Teresa, saying little things mean a lot. She won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. And when you win a Nobel Prize, you get $1 million. And you also get a banquet in Geneva, Switzerland, where they fed you and people talk about your great works, and I'm sure they show videos and things, and then you get to give a speech. She asked the organizers how much it would cost to put on that banquet, and they told her $192,000. That's a lot of money today. It was a huge amount in 1979. And she said, instead of the banquet, give the money to me because I can feed thousands of people in Calcutta, India with that money for a year. She was already getting $1 million. She wanted a little more so she could do more. How many of us would have taken the banquet? The reality is, everyone ever has taken the banquet. Little things mean a lot. And this isn't a new idea about putting other people first. Not to our detriment, of course, but thinking of others before we think of ourselves. And looking all around us at times for when we can do kindnesses with other people. When do we have those opportunities? And it's through serving and it's through service. Serving leadership, in this program I talk about 15 qualities of serving leaders divided into these 4 areas. Dignity of the individual, how we treat one another. Sacrifice and integrity, what do we do when chaos comes about? Recognition, who are we and where we're going, and responsible stewardship. So, what's the distinction? I think the distinction for us is it about service or is it about serving us? If you're asking what's in it for me as a leader, you're asking the wrong question. Serving leadership. What problems does this solve? It can solve problems of engagement. It can solve problems of apathy. It can solve problems of students not fulfilling their potential. These are some of the things that can happen by bringing this program to your campus. How do we do it? We do it by serving. This is some pictures from 2 days ago at a college over in San Antonio. We did something called Service Fair on the Go, where I set up a bunch of service projects and the students engaged with them. And it was a great program. In the morning, I did a workshop on service. And we even do that here. How many of you made some dog toys since you've been here? Colored a flat Stanley. Yeah, or did some roll-ups. How many of you did a flat Stanley and drew it that looks just like you? Miguel, here he is in the back, from Big Bend Community College in Washington State. Miguel, stand up. Everybody stand. Look at him and look at that picture. He drew himself. That is great. Let's give him a round of applause. That is amazing. And we send those to military service people overseas, so he's sending a part of himself off to those who serve. How would you use this program? New student orientations, leadership conferences, day of service, like Make a Difference Day coming up, or the Martin Luther King Day or Week of Service in January. Lots of opportunities that I would love to engage with you and bring this to your campus. And I know you're thinking, this is really great, Dave, but we love you. What else do you do? I do parliamentary procedure training. I teach clubs and student organizations and student government how to run meetings better. I teach you how to get your meeting started. Take a gavel and smack it on the table. Ring a bell if you need to. Use a clapper, smack a freshman. Do something that gets the meeting started, and then you are on your way. I show you how to write your minutes. And not only that, I have a template for writing the minutes. And if you're the secretary of any organization in here, go to my website, go to my blog page, and you can get that template for free. I do that. And I also teach clubs and organizations how to recruit and then keep those members by having fun and exciting meetings. Today we talked about secrets of motivation and delegation. Where are all my people who learned how to do potato fries today? There we go. Tell someone here that's with you how to do that. And these are the types of things students need to hear and learn about as leaders. And then we deal with the big ouch, conflict. Conflict and drama. You ever have that on campus? Drama. I was a theater major, I can do that. So I talk about those types of things and how to deal with them. And talk about how conflict, nobody is really into that. Nobody likes something that hurts, unless you're into mixed martial arts or that weird 50 Shades of Grey stuff. So So what problems does this solve? Leadership, showing students how to be better leaders on campus, how you can get more students engaged, how to keep them engaged in clubs and organizations, in your student government, your programming board, and the events that you're doing on campus. And I do this for leadership retreats, I do it for workshops. I come to campus sometimes and do a workshop series. Two of my more popular, maybe non-leadership topics you could say, are self-esteem. I do a program on that. I did that last week. I did it a few days ago. And also one on how to be a positive force for change. And I think that there is so much that we can do and that we can change the world by serving others one life at a time. And I would love the opportunity to come to your campus and talk with your students and create a little spark. And maybe from that spark, we get the students on your campus fired up. Come see me in my booth, I'll tell you how I did that. Thank you, I'm in booth 40, I'm Dave Kelly. Thank you.
All right, give it up to Dave Kelly. Come on, live the student leadership program. Dave Kelly. Good stuff.